Hey friends, so this Thursday we have our second 9 weeks mid-test. So I'm really excited to see how we've been doing. This is all over ratios, unit rates, UKSN, proportions, all those things. So let's go over this. Hopefully this will help you study, and we'll be ready to go for this Thursday. So here we go. Number 1, it says, the list shows the number of people that bought mozzarella sticks at Sonic for 7 days. What factor did the number of customers change from the first day to the 6th day? So we're looking at these numbers, and we've got to figure out what factor it changed from. So remember, factor means we're multiplying, okay? So we're going to try to figure out how do I get from each number. So each time I jump to a new number, I've got to be multiplying by something. So, I mean, these numbers are pretty big, but if I look at these first couple numbers, they're not too bad. I'm trying to think to myself, 7 times what gives me 21? And I know 7 times 3 gives me 21. And if we look, if I do 21 times 3, I'm going to come over here and do it. 21 times 3, I've got 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6. Oh, look. So it must be multiplying by 3 every time. So the factor for all of these is going to be 3. So answer choice A. So that's the first one, not too bad. You just got to figure out, again, I would always start at the very beginning. Those are going to be your smaller numbers. So start there and just figure out what you're multiplying by. Okay, number 2. Bob is making chili. He makes 5 cups for a math class, circle our number, of beans with every 2 cups for a math class, circle it, of meat. Which table shows possible values for C, chili, with the number of cups B, beans, and the number of cups M, meat, okay? So here we've got 5 cups of beans, 5 beans with every 2 cups of meat, right? So here, and I think these are supposed to be M's instead of, we're going to change these to M's instead of C's. Okay, so if I look here, I need to have 5 with beans and 2 with meat. So if I look, so far we've got M is 2, M is 2, M is 2. Over here it says M is 5. That's a no-go. That can't happen. So B is out. Okay, just by knowing that. And then I have to make sure each ratio stays the same. So my first ratio, again, is beans over meat, 5 over 2. I need to make sure that the rest of the ratios are the same, okay? So they need to simplify to 5 over 2. So if I have A, the next ratio is 10 over 4. So if I take 10 over 4, I notice I can divide top and bottom by 2 because they're both even. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So it checks out. It's 5 over 2. Okay, if I do 15 over 6, same thing. This time I can see I can divide by 3, top and bottom. 15 divided by 3 is 5. 6 divided by 3 is 2. And again, 5 over 2, that's what I wanted. So we're doing good. So far these have checked out. Let's make sure this last one checks out. 20 over 8, I can divide top and bottom by 4. 20 divided by 4 is 5. 8 divided by 4 is 2, so it checks out. This looks at the answer is A, because all of those reduce to the same ratio, 5 over 2. If you look at C and D, they don't work out, because 6 over 3, if I divide top and bottom by 3, I get 2 over 1, which is not 5 over 2. Wah, wah. So that doesn't work. Same thing with D. I've got 25 over 4. Well, guess what? There's nothing I can divide into both 25 and 4. So this would be the final ratio, which is not 5 over 2. So that's wrong as well. So the only one that is right is A. So again, you're just having to write out those ratios and figure out which one simplifies. Also, another way to look at it, if you look at the top, I have a 5 on top. So all of these numbers on top need to be a multiple of 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, all need multiple of 5. So they all are. And then all the ratios on bottom need to be a multiple of 2. 2, 4, 6, 8. Hey, guess what? They all are. These aren't. None of these are. So this one down here, they are multiples actually. D is multiples, but it's not the right multiples. They don't reduce down pretty. So the only one would be A. Okay, number 3, same thing. We've got Miss McDaniel's making hummingbird feed. She uses 4 cups, or math class circle it, of water for every 1 cup of sugar, or math class circle it. Which table shows the relationship between the number of cups of water, W, and the cups of sugar, S? Okay, so I need water. I've got 4 cups of water, and I have got 1 cup of sugar. So first off, let's make sure it says that, right? So water's on top, it needs to say 4. So all of these say 4 on top, except for D. That's wrong. So D is out, okay? So then I'm looking, and like I said earlier, it's got to be multiples. So the top needs to be multiples of 4. Well, if you look here, 5 is not a multiple of 4, so A is out, okay? And you see something like 4, 8, 12, 16, like a multiple. Like if you were to do your hashtag, it needs to be that. Okay, so I'm down to C and B. So let's start simplifying our ratios and see what happens. I'm just going to start with C. I don't know. I'm feeling C. So this one's 4 over 1. So I need to get all of them to simplify down to 4 over 1. So 8 over 2. I can divide top and bottom by 2. They're both even. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So far, so good. Next one, I've got 12 over 3. I can divide top and bottom by 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So 4 over 1. Okay, one more. Let's check and make sure. So 16 over 4, I can divide top and bottom by 4. 16 divided by 4 is 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. Yay! They all equal 4 over 1. They simplify down and make the same ratio. So the answer is C. Just for funsies, if we were to check out B, we've got 8 over 2, which we already did. If we divide top and bottom by 2, we get 4 over 1, which does check out. But if you notice 16 over 3, there is nothing I can divide into both 16 and 3, so that would be simplest form, which it is not equivalent to 4 over 1. So that's a no-go. So our answer is C. Okay, so just taking your time, making sure each ratio reduces, making sure we have multiples. So if we've got 4 on top, we've got multiples of 4 all the way across the top. It'll save you some time and cross off some answers. Okay, number 4. The ratio of dogs to cats at the pet store is 9 to 1. I guess I should do different colors. So remember, order matters. Order matters. So remember, when we're writing a ratio, whatever words come first, the numbers also go in that order. So since dogs come first, the number that comes first goes with dogs. Since cats come second, the number that goes with cats is second. So notice how that happens. And again, we're in math class, so I'm just going to circle my numbers. This is a UKSN problem. So UKSN. Remember, U stands for units. We never put any numbers there. That's just what the problem's talking about. So in our case, we're talking about dogs and cats. So again, I always put whatever comes first in the problem first. It really doesn't matter though. Dogs and cats. Then make sure we have our K is our what we know. We know we have 9 dogs. Make sure you put them in the right order, and 8 cats. So make sure notice how I put dogs has 9, cats has 8. It goes in the correct order. We want to know if there are 54 dogs. So this is what I need to know, dogs. And notice dogs are on top. So I need to put the 54 up there. Don't put it with cats, or it's going to be wrong. So make sure you put them all in the right order. It's all about lining up, and it'll work out, okay? Then I have to figure out my scale, okay? So remember, our scale is either what I'm multiplying or dividing by to try to get 9 to 54. So since it's getting bigger, I'm multiplying. It's got to get bigger. So 9 times what gives me 54? I know 9 times 6 is 54. Whatever I do to the top number, guess what? Got to do that bottom number. And 6 times 8 is 48. So I know if I have 54 dogs, then I must have 48 cats. So again, this is really not difficult. It's just like what we did at the beginning of the year with fraction bar equals fraction bar. Notice there's your fraction bar equals fraction bar. Same thing, we're just keeping it all nice and neat with all of our information and making sure everything goes in the right spot. So that's why we use UKSN. And again, The U stands for units. That's where whatever we're talking about goes. This is what we know in our problem. This is our scale, how we get our know to our need. And then this is what we need to get to. Okay. Number 5. Ashley and Bailey are painting. They each added glitter to their paint. Ashley mixed 2 ounces of glitter for every 4 ounces of paint. And Bailey mixed 3 ounces of glitter for every 9 ounces of paint. Which statement is true? So let's go ahead and write some ratios just from what we know. So I'm just going to highlight everything that has to do with Ashley in one color. And then everything that has to do with Bailey in another color. Just so I can keep up. I like to do this because I get confused very easily. So I'm going to write a ratio for yellow for Ashley. And then I'm going to write a ratio and for the pink for Bailey. So Ashley used 2 ounces of glitter for 4 ounces of paint. And then I can reduce this. I see they're both even. So I'm going to divide top and bottom by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And we're done. It's consecutive. There's a 1 on top. They're both prime. So we're done. So Ashley's ratio of glitter to paint is 1 to 2. Okay. Now Bailey. Okay. Her ratio is 3 to 9. And I can see that I can divide top and bottom by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. Oops. And 9 divided by 3 is 3. Again, I'm done. There's a 1 on top. They're both prime. We're good. Okay. So looking here, again, the top number is my glitter. The bottom number is my paint. So glitter, paint. I'm just going to label that so we know. So if we look, who's going to be using more glitter? Well, Ashley, because she uses 1 ounce of glitter for every 2 things of paint when I use 1 ounce of glitter for every 3 things of paint. So I don't get to use glitter as much as Ashley. So we've really, we already know that Ashley uses more glitter. So knowing that, let's look. So it says, the first one says Ashley uses less glitter. No, we just said Ashley used more, so that's out. This says Bailey used more glitter. No, because we said Ashley used more. This one says Ashley used more. Yes. And then this one says Bailey used more. No, Ashley used more. So just by knowing Ashley used more, we're here. And we know that because we wrote our ratio, 1 to 2 is greater than 1 to 3, right? And if you weren't even sure, if you turn these into decimals, 1/2, remember, is 0.50. 1/3 is a benchmark fraction, 0.33, right? 50 cents is bigger than 33 cents, right? Okay, so just make sure you're keeping up with what numbers go with each people. Colors are awesome. Use colors. They help me a lot. Okay, this is the awful one. I hate this question. But y'all are super smart and y'all have got this. So it's just having to get the common denominator and figuring out what the denominator needs to be and then comparing. So we've got this. Mr. Foster took a poll of the students that ate different flavors of popcorn. So on the left, we've got butter, caramel, plain, and white cheddar. And then we've got ratio to the total on the right. And this is out of 480 students that took the poll. And it wants to know which statement is true. So looking at my ratios right now, butter says 1/3. I want to know out of 480. Okay, so I'm going to kind of do a fraction bar equals fraction bar type of thing. I've got 1/3, and I want it to be out of 480. So I've got to figure out what can I multiply 3 by to get to 480. And I'm going to tell you I don't know off the top of my head, so I'm going to make a little division house. And I'm going to do the opposite of multiply, divide to figure out. So 3 goes into 4 one time. 1 times 3 is 3. 4 minus 3 is 1. Bring down the 8. 3 goes into 18 6 times. And it goes in there evenly. 18. How beautiful. And put an extra 0 up there for that guy. So it's times 160. Remember, whatever I do to the bottom, got to do the top. Can't leave anybody out. So out of 480, 160 people chose butter. Okay, so notice how we had to get it out of 480 people because we're about to read some statements and they won't make sense unless we have it out of the 480. Okay, Same thing with this guy. I've got the fraction 1/8. I've got to get it to 400, the denominator 480. So I'm asking myself, how can I get 8 to 480? And I'm just going to, instead of doing division, I'm going to take the 0 off, and I know that 6 times 8 is 48, right? So I'm going to be multiplying by 6, but I took that 0 off, so when I make my multiplication, I have to add that 0 back on. So it's really 60 times 8, or you can make your division house if you wanted. And so whatever I do on bottom, got to do on top. 1 times 60 is 60. So 60 people chose caramel, okay? And then this one just says 164, so if you were to write a ratio, it would just be 164 over 480, okay? And number last, we've got 1/5, so 1/5 equals, we want the denominator to be 480. Again, I got to figure out how do I get to 480 from 5? I don't know, so let's make a division house. 480, 5. Okay, 5 does not go into 4. It goes in there 0 times. So then I've got to figure out how many times 5 goes into 48. I know 5 times 9 is 45. I think that's the closest I can get. 8 minus 5 is 3. 4 minus 4 is 0. Bring down the 0. 5 goes into 36 times. So I've got 96 is what we're multiplying by over here. Times 96. Whatever I do on bottom, got to do on top. Can't leave anybody out. 1 times 96 is 96. So here's all our numbers. So we've got 160, 60, 164, and 96. Notice if we were to add all these up, 160, 60, 164, 96, we should get 480 because that's how many people voted, right? 0 plus 0 is 0, plus 4 is 4, plus 6 is 10. 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 6 is 18, plus 1 is 19, plus 9 is 28, and then I've got 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. 480, which is what we wanted. So just double checking my math just to make sure. Sometimes I mess up. Okay, so let's read these statements. We got to figure out what is true. So this one says, A, 1/4 as many people ate butter as ate caramel, okay? So butter was, what was butter? 160. 160 people ate butter, and then caramel was 60, right? Okay, so this says 1/4 as many people ate butter flavored as caramel. So shouldn't butter be smaller? According to that statement, it should be, but butter is more, so that is not correct. That is out, because 1/4 means it's a quarter of it, right? Okay, B says, more than double as many people ate caramel flavored as plain. Okay, caramel was 60, plain was, where's plain? 164. So it says, more than double as many people ate caramel flavored as plain. Well, if more than double, we got to have caramel be way bigger than plain, and it's not. So that's out. Okay, next one. 20 more people ate white cheddar than caramel. White cheddar was 96. Caramel was 60. So this says 20 more people ate white cheddar than caramel. Well, 20 more would be 80, and I'm at 96, so more than 20 people ate. So that's not it. And this one says half as many people ate plain than butter. So plain is 164, and butter is 160. So half as many people ate plain than ate butter. Yes? That's not it. if we looked at answer choice A, though, I know this is not great, but if we look at answer choice A, it says 1/4 of many people ate butter flavored as a caramel. If we switch it around and did 60 over 160, or 2, I've got 3 over 8. That's not it. I don't like these. This is more than double as many people ate caramel flavored. More than double as many people ate caramel flavored, ate plain. I don't like any of these statements. I'm gonna look at this one and we'll figure it out, but I don't like any of those. Okay? Told y'all I don't like these problems, but I'll let y'all know. That one's really ugly. Okay. Walmart in Gun Barrel City has 135 employees for 4,725 customers. Which rate best represents the relationship between the Walmart employees and the Walmart customers? Okay, so we're doing Walmart employees to Walmart customers. So this one has 135 employees and 4,725 customers. So when I'm writing my ratio, I'm going to make sure I have employees over customers, right? So I've got sorry, I told you I gotta color code everything. 135 over 4,725. So we're trying to find the unit rate of it, right? We want to find when we have one employee, right? We want to find one employee, how many customers does that take, right? So if you look at our answer choices, I've got 2 that say per Walmart employee, and then I've got per customer. Does it make sense to have 35 employees to 1 customer? No. So these per customers, get rid of them. Those don't make any sense. We want to find how many customers per employee because there's more customers than employee. So I'm trying to get that to 1, okay? And this time I'm dividing. I have to divide 135 by itself to get to 1. So whatever I do on top, gotta do on bottom. And I don't know this off the top of my head either, so I'm gonna have to come over here and make a little division house. 725, 135, okay? Okay, 135 can't go into 4, can't go into 47, but it can go into 472. I'm going to guess about 3 times. So I've got 135 times 3 is 405. Okay, subtract. Got to borrow. 12 minus 5 is 7. 6 minus 0 is 6. 4 minus 4 is 0. So 67. Bring down the 5. I'm going to guess 5 times, and I'm looking at my answer choices. Like my answer choices are 35 or 30. So I know it's got to be a 5 or a 0, and I know it's not 0. So 5 times is 675. So 35. So if I have 1 employee, I have 35 customers. So 35 customers per employee, which is answer choice A. So make sure you're telling yourself, like, what would make more sense when we're doing unit rates? What makes more sense to get to 1? The employees or the customers? Okay, a farmer had 266 tomatoes in 19 different plots. Which rate is equal to the tomatoes in 1 plot? Okay, so again, like, you could do just line equals line if you want to set it up as UKSN, whatever makes more sense. I'm talking about tomatoes in plots, right? So I know I have 266 tomatoes and 19 plots. I want to know in 1 plot, so 1 down here, okay? So I'm trying to get from 19 to 1. I've got to divide by itself. 19 divided by 19 equals 1, whatever I do on bottom. Gotta do on top. So 266 divided by 19. I know 19 can't go into 2, but it can go into 26 one time. 1 times 19 is just 19. Gotta go borrow. 16 minus 9 is 7. 1 minus 1 is 0. Bring it down. And then I've got to do 19 can go into 76. If I've rounded it to 20, I know that 20 can go into 76, 20, 40, 60, 3 times. So I'm going to guess about 3 times. Okay. 19 times 3 is 57. Got to borrow. 16 minus 7 is 9. 6 minus 5 is 1. Oh, look, I can go in there one more time because, look, I messed up. So I got to go back. 4 times. 19 times 4. Is that exactly 76? 6, 3, 76. There you go. Look how pretty that was. 14. 14. So notice how I checked myself when I messed up. I realized, hey, 19 is not smaller than 19. Okay, so 14 is our answer. 14 tomatoes in 1 plot, which is answer choice C. Okay, number 9. The table shows the amount of houses and pounds of candy students in Mrs. Basham's class got on Halloween. How many pounds of candy for 45 houses? So this is a UKSN problem, right? UKSN. Bam, 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 bam. Okay? And I want to know pounds of candy and houses. Right? Or I guess I should do that the other way. Let me do this the other way. Miss Neal is just not having a good day today. Messing up on everything. Okay, so number of houses, let's put that on top. It really doesn't matter, but I always tell y'all to do it this way, so let's do it this way. So we've got number of houses. So remember, if you have a table, just read that. That'll tell you what your units are. And this is pounds of candy. Okay. And I want to know for 45 houses. So that's my need. Houses on top, so it's going to go on top. And then I have 4 different knows I can choose from. I know 4 different things, but I want to find one that's pretty to multiply to 45, okay? So I want to get my number of houses to be pretty and go to 45. So if we're looking, there's nothing I can multiply by 12 to get to 45, right? 14, I don't think any of these are pretty, y'all. 14, there's nothing I multiply by 14. Nothing I multiply by 20. These are all really gross. Yeah, these are not pretty numbers. I guess let's just pick one then. It's going to be ugly, but let's pick one, okay? Let's just do, I'm going to do 25 and 75. Okay? So I'm trying to get 25 to 45. I'm going to tell you all it's going to be really ugly. I know I'm multiplying, but let's go ahead and divide over here to figure out what we're multiplying by. 25 does not go into 4, it goes into 45 one time. Subtract, and I get 20. Add a decimal and a 0, bring it down. And 25, think of quarters. 25 goes into $2 8 times, so 200, okay? So times 1.8. Whatever I do on top, gotta do on bottom. So I'm gonna multiply 75 times 1.8. Okay, 8 times 5 is 40, 7 times 8 is 56, plus 4 is 60, add a 0, 1 times 5 is 5, 1 times 7 is 7. Then we're going to add it up. 0 plus 0 is 0, 0 plus 5 is 5, 6 plus 7 is 13. I got to count my kids in my car. I got 1 kid, so I just need to move the decimal over 1 time. So it should be 135. So if I have 45 houses, I've got 135 pounds of candy. So answer choice C. That was really ugly. But now you know, I mean, if sometimes they won't work out, hopefully they'll be pretty, but sometimes they don't work out and you have to multiply by a fraction or decimal, and that's okay. You could have to multiply by a fraction or decimal. Okay? Number 10, Miss Basham was mixing together some lemonade for all the school. She mixed together 7 pounds of sugar with 2 pounds of salt. Which ratio could be represented by Miss Basham's recipe? So, of sugar to salt. So we've got 7 to 2, right? So we need to figure out which one simplified to 7 to 2, right? So this is really 4 over 14. Divide top and bottom by 2. This one is 2 over 7, which is not 7 over 2. So out. Next one, I've got 6 over 21. I can divide top and bottom by 3 and get 2 over 7. And that's not what I want. I want the 7 to go first, so he's out. Next one, I've got 56 over 16. I can divide by 8. 56 divided by 8 is 7. 16 divided by 8 is 2. 7 over 2. Hey, look, 7 over 2. The 7 goes first. So that looks like that can be it. Let's just double check this last one just to make sure. 28 over 8. Divide by 2. 14 over 4. I can divide by 2 again. 7 over 2. Hey, that's what I want. So it looks like there's 2 answer choices for this. So C and D would be correct answer choices, right? Because they both reduce down to 7 over 2. Okay, just make sure order matters. We had sugar to salt, sugar, 7 pounds of sugar with 2 pounds of salt, right? So just making sure you have everything in the right order. Okay, which is not equal? So if we're doing not equal, we need to find which one does not fit in with all of these. So like 12 dot dot 15, we could write it ratios with the dot dots or the colon. That's what it's really called. 12 over 15, we could have 12 to 15. If we were to do a rate, we would have to divide. So 12 and 15, 0, 0, decimal 0. And that goes into there 8 times, right? Okay, so this one, these are all equivalent, all equivalent. So if we look, the 12 dot dot 15, he's right there, he's good. 12 over 15, he's right there, he's good. And we have 0.8 or 8 tenths, he's there, and 12 and 1500ths, that's not there. That's not right. Remember, I always tell you, don't pick that answer, right? That one's not right. It's never going to be the numerator dot or decimal the denominator. Never going to work. So he does not belong, right? That one's not equal to the ratio 12, 15. Okay? So 12, I'm going to write dogs here, tore up 18 dog toys. How many dog toys were torn up by 36 dogs? So this is a UKSN. I've got to write my units. So we're talking about dogs and dog toys, right? I know that 12 dogs tore up 18 dog toys. I want to know how many dog toys were torn up by 36 dogs. So I know the dogs is 36. So I'm trying to figure out how do I get from 12 to 36. Well, it's times by 3. Whatever I do on top, gotta do to the bottom. So I do 18 times 3. 8 times 3 is 24. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5, so 54. So answer choice D. Okay, so just making making sure everything's lined up. Okay, find the ratio. How many yellow triangles would there be if there were 14 purple triangles? So right now, let's write a ratio, right? I've got 4 purple to 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 yellow, right? So if I do UKSN, we're talking about purple to yellow. Right now I know I have 4 purple and 10 yellow. I want to know how many yellow triangles would there be if there are 14 purple triangles. Purple. So I got to figure out how to get there. This is going to be ugly as well. So I've got to get to 4 to 14. It's not going to be pretty, so I'm going to divide it out. 14 in the house, 4 outside. 4 cannot go into 1, but 4 can go into 14 3 times, which is 12. Get 2, decimal 0. 4 goes into 20 5 times. So 3.5 is what I'm multiplying by. Whatever I do on top, gotta do on bottom. Okay, and multiply 10 by 3.5, I get 35. So if there's 14 purple, there's gotta be 35 yellows, which is answer choice A. So again, it might not be pretty, so divide it out and figure out what your scale is gonna be, what you're multiplying by. At Jack in the Box, every hour 16 cars order 30 tacos. At this rate, how many tacos would 80 cars order? UKSN. We're talking about cars and tacos. So cars and tacos. Hey, I know that 16 cars can order 30 tacos. I need to know what can 80 cars do, right? So I'm going to do 16 times 5 to get 80. Whatever I do on top, gotta do on bottom. 30 times 5. If you don't know, you can come over here. 0 and 15, so 150 tacos. So 80 cars can do 150 tacos. Okay, 15, which point shows the value of, remember this is called absolute value with those lines. Remember everything that comes out of absolute value is positive. Absolute value is positive. We're talking about distance. Distance can never be negative. Even if I drive my car in reverse, I'm still moving from point A to point B, okay? So absolute value of -6, we're finding the distance from 0 is actually positive 6 away from 0, right? So the one that best fits it would be C. Yes? Don't forget it. Absolute value is positive. Okay, Bailey ran 2/9 of a mile. What decimal and percent is equivalent to this? Okay, so if I'm doing a decimal, this is a benchmark fraction, so y'all should know. Remember, we take the top number and it's repeating. Or if you didn't know, we could come over here and neato it. Numerator in, denominator out. 9 does not go into 2, but 9 can go into 22 times, which is 18. Bring down the 0. And if you notice, I'm just going to keep getting 2. It's repeating. So this is repeating, like we said. Okay. And then percent, I just do Dr. Pepper. So I have 0.2 repeating. I'm just going to add an extra thingy there. And if I move it decimal to percent, I go 2 times to the right. So 1, 2. So now this is equal to 22 and then 2/10 repeating percent, which is answer choice A. The little R stands for repeating. Okay. A bakery made 30 cakes. Out of 30 cakes, 18 of them were chocolate. Which answer choice is equivalent to the 18 chocolate cakes out of 30 cakes? So first let's simplify this fraction. Okay, I know I can divide top and bottom by 6. 18 divided by 6 is 3. 30 divided by 6 is 5. So 3/5 of them were chocolate. So this A says 2/5, so that's wrong. Okay, let's find the decimal and the percent. So percent, remember I could do fraction bar equals fraction bar, percent out of 100. 5 times 20 gives me 100, whatever I do on bottom, gotta do on top. 3 times 20 is 60%. Okay. So this says 18%, so that's not right. And then to go from percent to decimal, I do Dr. Pepper. So I'm starting over here this time, percent to decimal, 2 times to the left. Here's my decimal. Remember, if you don't see it, it's at the end of the last digit. 1, 2. It's right after the 6. So the decimal would be 6/10, which is answer choice D. This one's 6/100. Okay. So remember, this is our FDP triangle. There's multiple ways you could go around. But remember, fraction, decimal, percent. To get from fraction to decimal, we do neato, decimal to percent, we do Dr. Pepper, percent, percent to fraction, we're going to do percent over 100. Then I can go the other way around the triangle, decimal to fraction. We can say it, then we can write it, and then percent to decimal, again DP, but this time we're going PD, so Pepper Doctor, and then percent to fraction, that's our fraction bar equals fraction bar. So those are our strategies we use. And I mean, you could have gone either way. You could have do neato first. You could have done whatever you wanted. I try to avoid neato because who wants to do long division? But either way works. Okay. This one, remember, anytime it gives you a picture, I want you to write a fraction. No matter what it's asking for, you got to write a fraction first. So this is the part that's shaded in. So when we write a fraction, it's always part over whole. So the part that is shaded is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The whole thing, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 1, 2, 3. 3 times 5 is 15. So the whole thing is 15, right? Okay, so if I'm doing percent, I've got 8 over 15 equals percent over 100, right? Okay, well, there's nothing that I can multiply 15 by. I want to rephrase that. Nothing pretty, no whole number I can multiply 15 by to get to 100. So this is where you could do what we learned Monday and Tuesday in class, where you do multiply these two numbers. So 8 times 100 is 800, and then you divide by this leftover guy. So 800 divided by 15. And then I can say 15 does not go into 8, but 15 goes into 80 5 times. Let's make a little hashtag. I think it might make it a little bit easier on me. 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, 90, 105, 120, 135. Okay, so it goes in there 5 times, and that is 75. I get 5, bring down the 0. 15 can go into 50 3 times, which is 45. Get 5, decimal 0. And it looks like I'm going to keep getting 3 repeating. This is what it's looking like. Did I count that correctly? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. out of 4, 5. Yeah, 8 over 15. Yeah, so it should be 53 and 3 repeating percent. None of those are right. Trick question. None of the answers are right. And if you look, you can tell that, a little over half of them are colored in. So you should know a little over half of them work. If you forgot about our little trick from this week, remember you can always just divide, do Nito, and then do DP. So that works as well. Okay, this one, which point is incorrect? So first let us simplify these. So remember we're dividing, so we're gonna be using Dobritoman. So we divide like normal, and then to figure out the sign, we use Doritoman to figure it out. So 27 divided by 3 is going to be 9. I've got a negative, and I've got a positive. So my answer's got to be negative. This is negative 9. 8 divided by 2 is just positive divided by positive, so positive 4. Again, positive divided by positive. This one, divide like normal. 6 divided by 3 is 2. I've got a negative and I've got a positive, so my answer's got to be negative. Okay, so use that Dorito guy. Okay, so point A should be at negative 9. Check. Point B should be at 4. Check. Point C should be at 5. Ooh, not check. And then point E should be at negative 2. Check. So the one that is incorrect is point C. He is wrong. Point C is wrong. Okay. 20. The list shows the amount of hours 4 employees worked last night. And once it's put ascending order, means ascending means we're going up. We're ascending into the sky. So we're going from little bitty bitty numbers to big old fat big numbers. So least to greatest. And remember when I'm comparing, I've got to get these in the same form. So all fractions, all decimals. So I'm going to make a table. I've got 32.11%, 7 out of 21, and 7 out of 20. Okay, so let's get these all to decimals so we can compare them. First one, I just have to do Dr. Pepper. Remember to get from percent to decimal, I go 2 times to the left, so 1, 2. So 0.3211. Notice it already has a decimal in it. Don't tell me the decimal is just 32 and 11 hundredths. It's not the decimal. It's still a percent. It's got that percent sign. I have to convert. I have to do Dr. Pepper or Pepper Doctor. Like, I've got to do that. Don't just write 32 and 11 hundredths. It's not correct. Okay? 7 over 21. If you divide top and bottom by 7, we get 1/3. 1/3 is one of our benchmarks, which is 0.3. Repeating, I'm going to take this out to 4 decimal places because that's what the top one is. And then 7 over 20. I don't know. I got a neato. So 7, 20. 20 does not go into 7, so decimal 0. 20 does go into 70 3 times, which is 60. Okay, 20 goes into 100 5 times. So this is going to be 0.35. I'm going to add 2 placeholder zeros. It doesn't change the number, but just because all the other ones go out to 4 places, I want to make him go out to 4 places. Okay, they all have the same in the ones place and all have the same in the tenths place. So I'm going to be looking at the hundredths place. I'm looking at this place. And again, I'm going ascending order. None of them are negative, so I don't have to reverse my brain. I'm really looking for smallest to largest. So smallest would be the 2, then the 3, oops, and then the 5. So honestly, these were already in order. How great was that? So it goes Angie, Nick, and then Bailey. Angie, Nick, and then Bailey, which is not even an answer choice. Nope. But that is the correct answer. So none of these are correct. Another error. Angie, Nick, and Bailey should be the final answer. Okay. Again, which one does not belong? So I've got 1/3 I know is a benchmark fraction at 0.3 repeating. So these two are equal to each other. And then if I do Dr. Pepper with this guy, the repeating guy, 1, 2, it is 33, and then the 3 is repeating in the 10th place. So he belongs, this does not belong. Again, we're looking for not. What's the equivalent ratio? So it says Bob went to the store to get food for a party. For every 5 guests, Bob is getting 9 dinner rolls. Which ratio is equivalent? So I'm doing 5 to 9. So right now, 9 to 5 is no-go, right? Okay. So I need to simplify these down. 54 over 36. I know I can divide by 2.
Alyssa Anderson, your rod is out front.
Divide.
There's also several other parents that are out front waiting. I don't know names of kids that they're waiting on, but there are several other cars out front.
So I get 9 over 6. Sorry, brief announcement. Divide by 3. I get 3 over 2, which is not what I want. I want a 5 over 9. This one, 36 over 54. Well, these are the same numbers I just had. They're just reversed. So again, this is going to be the same numbers, just reversed 2/3, which is, again, not what I want. 18 over 10. I can divide top and bottom by 2. 18 divided by 2 is 9. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So 9 over 5, which is not what I want. So none of these work. Okay, but if like 18 over 10 was flipped, it could be 10 over 18. That would work, right? I could multiply top and bottom by 3. I could get 15 over 27. That would work. You just got to make sure that they're in the right order. Order matters, and it all works. Okay. UKSN. The ratio of popcorn sold at the movies to the customers is 2 to 7. Okay. So if I do UKSN, I've got popcorn and customers. So it's 2 to 7. I want to know if there's 49 people, so 49 customers. I got to get 7 to 49. 7 times 7 is 49. So whatever I do on bottom, got to do on top. 2 times 7 is 14. So 14 popcorns are expected to sell if there's 49 customers. Okay. Decimals and percents. Okay. 1/2. 1/2 is a decimal is just 0.5. And then it is also 50%. That one we should just know. We shouldn't have to do any math for. 1/3. Again, that is, we've done that one multiple times. It's 0.3 repeating. If you Dr. Pepper it over, I get 33.3 repeating percent. 1/4, think of 1/4 is 25 cents. Dr. Pepper it, 25%. Okay, 1/8. These are those ones where we kind of have to make those funky patterns. Remember, if you don't know, you could come over here, make your neato. 8 does not go into 1. Add decimal and a 0. 8 goes into 10 one time. So I get 2. Bring down the 0. 8 goes into 20 2 times. And then I get 4. Bring down the 0. 8 goes into 40 5 times. So I've got 0 and 125 thousandths. Dr. Pepper it, and I get 12.5%. So benchmarks. Okay, again, benchmarks. Are we almost there? Oh, we are doing all kinds of these. Okay. 1/9. Remember 9s? The top number is repeating, so this is 0.1 repeating, or 11.1 repeating percent to do Dr. Pepper. 2/3 of 3 repeats. 1/3 was 0.3 repeating. 2/3 is 0.6 6 repeating, so this will be 66.6 repeating percent. 3/4 is 3/4, so 75 cents or 75%. Okay. 5/8, again, that's the pattern we have to remember, 5 and 8. If you don't know, we can do it out. 8 goes into 5. 8 goes into 50. 6 times, which is 48. 8 goes into 20 2 times. And then 8 goes into 40 5 times. So 0.625. Not Nito. If I do Dr. Pepper, 62.5%. Okay, UKSN. Here's a chart of Miss Kemp's pumpkin muffin recipe. We've got cake mix and eggs. How many eggs will she use if she has 36 cups of cake mix? So if we do UKSN, we use our chart. It gives us our units, right? So we've got cake mix and eggs. Oops, not 2 S's. There we go. If I know, I have 4 options to choose from, right? I want to pick the one that's going to be easiest on me. So I've got 36 cups of cake mix, so I need that. That's over there. So I got to pick something that's easy to multiply to 36. They're all really easy, so it really doesn't matter. I'm just going to pick the first one. So 3/2 is what I know. To get from 3 to 36, I'm multiplying by 12. Whatever I do on top, got to do to the bottom. 12 times 2 is 24. So if I have 36 cake mixes, right, cups of cake mix, I have to use 24 eggs for the recipe to be the same. Okay, improper to mix. So remember, improper means that the numerator is greater than the denominator. I can do Nito. 10 does not go into 6, but it does go into 67 6 times. 60, and I get 7. Okay, we're using all these pieces now. So this is my new whole numbers. The big number is 6. Okay, and then I've got 7 is my new numerator. And then my denominator never changes. It's always going to stay the same, so it's going to stay 10. And I cannot simplify 7/10, so that is done. 6 7/10 is my mixed number. Okay, this is a mixed number, so 2 3/8. We do I call it the Texas two-step. I've heard just Texas. I've heard the Big C. I heard popcorn the other day. Like, there's tons of different names for it. But you multiply your denominator in your whole number. So 2 times 8 is 16. And then you add 16 plus 3 is 19. Okay, so it's my new numerator, and I keep the 8. It's going to stay the same. So improper would be 19/8. Absolute value, remember, absolute value is distance. Anything that comes out is positive. So if it's absolute value of -31, it's going to be positive 31. Absolute value of -12 is going to be positive 12. Absolute value of -6 is going to be positive 6. Absolute value of positive 3 is also positive 3. Okay, doesn't matter if it's negative or positive. Inside those absolute values, it's always positive because we're talking about distance away from 0. Distance is always positive. Okay, and that's it, y'all. We finished our review. Whoop, whoop. We made it. I know some of them, there was a few where there was a couple errors that we need to go back and look at, and I'll announce that during class because some of the answer choices were funky. But overall, that's your review for your test. Please study. Y'all are going to do amazing. Bye, y'all.